welcome to another TCAP recap. Tonight, we are going to look at one of the legendary Predos of the TCAP universe, and his name is Anthony Palumbo. So I wanted to start out looking at his mugshot here because it captures so much in his image, the way he's looking to the side in shame and just the downcast of his mustache and lips. You know, this is a defeated man. He's been caught up in a sting that not only will see him charged and put on a lifetime parole and RSO, but he will also be outed as gay or, bisexual. And that's not what he wanted to happen, of course, but that's the thing he was worried about during the interview with Chris Hansen. And he has kind of a non sequitur where he just states that he's not gay, and Chris is kind of nonplussed, like, dude, nobody cares what consenting adults do. It's a child. And Chris is absolutely right. But there's no picture of Anthony on the PJ site, which is unfortunate. It'd be cool if they had some kind of rare photo of him. I don't know, something. But they don't. It just says pervert has no picture, which is clever. But he was 46 years old at the time of the sting, and he was busted in Ocean County, New Jersey. And he was trying to meet up with a 14-year-old boy. And his chat log is short and to the point. It is not sweet. It is sour and nasty. It starts and ends within about 24 hours, or, roughly one day. And he's quick. First, he asked age right up front. And the decoy says 14, male. And it just starts up real quick. He asks, so the chat starts at 8:51 p.m. on March 30th. And at 8:57, he asks, what are you into? And then 8:58, you top or bottom? So he's, within 10 minutes, he's asking a 14-year-old if he's top or bottom in a sexual act, and the decoy plays kind of dumb. Well, the decoy plays like a 14-year-old boy, innocent and kind of naive with that kind of stuff, inexperienced at least. And he jumps from sex to oral sex, and kind of it's like a funny but almost endearing, touching moment where he asks if the decoy kisses, and the decoy says, heck yeah, bro, it's hot. Which is endearing because it's just something that a 14-year-old might say. Like, that's their level of experience, and so that's the peak experience at that time. So he just shows, after the guy asks about sex and oral sex, where he's just like, I don't know, I haven't tried it. Kissing, he likes that. And, hi buddy, what's up, which is Anthony's screen name. He does not give a fuck if this guy thinks kissing is hot. He says, I am horny. States it, just tossing it out there. And the decoy, they talk a little bit more, and Anthony's asking the decoy to help him, and then he says, I can come see you there, to the decoy's house. This is 9:07, so this is within 20 minutes of talking to this kid, who he knows up front is 14 years old. So he has no cover. His exposure is 100% from this chat. he will have no defense when it comes to Chris or after, because he's not discreet at all. I think he says that he doesn't have to be discreet. I don't have discreet here. Oh, he doesn't have photos, never mind. I thought he was saying that he doesn't have to be discreet here, or that he has to be discreet here. Who knows? I guess he could be indiscreet here because it's his online persona, which his family and friends and colleagues, they can't see it. So he can be full in his sexuality online, but has it bottled up in real life. So that might account for why he's such a fast mover. Like, he gets into this online fantasy of, probably looking at porn and whatever. Not an online addiction, as Chris always wants it to be, but just, living in the online persona and getting a lot of gratification from it, because that's where he can be his true self. And that just builds up and up, while on the real world, IRL, he still has to stay bottled up, wound up tightly, still has to put on the act. So it starts to spill over right here, and that's why he gets taken down. He switches to caps lock when he says his name is Chris, and the decoy Brian, and he suddenly switches to caps lock suddenly. He asks the decoy if he swallows. Decoy says, "What's that?" And then in caps lock, "The cum you swallow." God damn, Anthony. Wow. Why the sudden switch to caps lock? There's theories out there that he accidentally hit it and just didn't know to take it off. That's possible. I prefer to believe that he just couldn't hold back. Like, he held back at first, but then once he's devoted himself to coming over, he can start getting excited about it, and that's why he just feels he needs to put the caps lock. Actually, you know what? I don't think he even uses the caps lock. I think he just holds shift down. That way he can get more tactile sensations while he's getting revved up online on his fingers. Which, it sounds silly, but it's one of your senses, sense of touch, and it can influence a lot more than you think. Or, maybe you already know that, and I'm just singing to the choir. Anyway, back to Anthony. He's up front, we can give him that much. He declares he want to be top, and he kind of forces this on the decoy, which is especially uncool. Very rapey vibes, which, it is, obviously, but just more sinister vibes when he starts doing this, because he asks it as a question. You want to do it raw? And the decoy plays dumb, and Anthony says one of the most famous lines in TCAP, "No rubber," is, I like to pronounce it. He spells it R-U-B-E-R, so no rubber, or no rubber. And the decoy, whoever's playing the decoy, is on point, because they say, "Well, I learned in health that you should always use one." Props to the decoy. And he replies with LOL in all caps. So he doesn't even, have the courtesy to give it a response of any sort. He just laughs out loud in the decoy's face. Literally, I mean, in the world of online etiquette, he just laughs laughs out loud in response to a very good point by the decoy. One moment. Alright, back into it. So he replies that he's clean. Eventually so the decoy replies, "Maybe just bring one just in case. I don't know." And Anthony says, "Okay, I clean, which, sure, let's just pretend that he's telling the truth. That doesn't matter. That doesn't make it okay to not use a condom in most situations. Like, that's still something that you have to agree with and consent to on both parties. Just because you're clean doesn't mean that they will automatically want to raw dog ya on the first night, Anthony. Sorry, that's gross term. Raw dog. Especially in... Let's go back. He finally wises up and... how I know you ain't playing, he questions the decoy, and how I know you're not a cop. They say LOL a lot, or at least Anthony says LOL a lot, and just like that, the decoy says, I'm not a cop. How do I know you ain't my parents trying to set me up? And he replies with 2 LOLs. I not LOL. He's just a barrel of laughs. Hi, buddy. What's up? And it's a ridiculous reply when you think through, like, this kid's parents are not going to set him up by getting into a very sexually explicit conversation with him online. That's fucked up. And Anthony falls for it because in his mind, yeah, that makes total sense for him because online anything goes. Anyway, they set up really specific directions. It's always noted that the decoy gave him directions that no 14-year-old could really know because he mentions a lot of landmarks that you would only recognize by driving or only really have a sense for by driving. You know, if you pass this, you've gone too far. Hang a U-turn, blah, blah, blah. He gets into it again. You suck. You never sucked. You ever bottom. He already answered that, Anthony, at the very beginning. Will you swallow my cum? I want to. When he... so he asks, will you swallow my cum? And the decoy says, I'll try it, but why? Anthony replies with another sinister response. Like, this guy's starting to give off some especially unpleasant vibes. He says, I want you to. And it's, again, in all caps, which it's playing into a bit of a power perspective. You know, he's all caps and he's authoritative. He doesn't need to use punctuation. He doesn't need to even write full words or make much sense. And he goes back to the rubbers. I have no rubbers. Dude, you can go buy condoms at the gas station anywhere, so that's a bullshit excuse, even to a 14-year-old who has been in a gas station before, presumably with their parents at least. And the decoy asks if he has lube. Hi, buddy, what's up? Says, no, we can use soap. What the fuck, Anthony? Soap? The stuff that's going to bubble up, that's antibacterial, that's going to sting? Presumably. I mean, that's a sensitive part of the body. This guy's fucked up, and he's acting like he can't drive down to the corner store and buy all this for cheap. You know, we're talking like $5 to $10. And there's no problem. He's a loser for sure, but I refuse to believe that he doesn't have the pocket change to buy this stuff to practice safe sex. He just doesn't want to. So he's going to force it on the decoy. He continues on. Can I do it with no condom? The decoy replies, you can get some, you dumbass. In subquotes, he didn't actually call him a dumbass. He should have. And again, you're pleased that he's clean. Like, that's an answer. So we're gonna just skip past the rest. Oh god, I stopped right at the wrong part. He asked the decoy, when was the last time you come? Just asking. And finally, one sinister threat for the road. You better not be playing fucking games. It's a long trip. That's what he's worried about. he doesn't want to have his gas wasted like poor fucking god damn it, I can't remember his name, but the guy Buddy GA that got pissed that they made him waste his gas driving over there. So he goes on, and that's it. So it ends 3:31, 6:58. Let's stop at one more thing before we watch him. So 2 years before he got caught up in the sting, this happened to Anthony. His 85-year-old father threatened to kill his wife, Anthony's mother, in a dispute over $1 million in stocks. Frank Palumbo arraigned yesterday on assault and weapons possession charges for attacking his wife, Mary, 75 years old, 10 years younger. And he broke her nose with a wooden tray first, and then menaced her with the pitchfork. And this guy just goes psycho, shouting, "I will kill you." And Mary was fine. She was in good condition at Staten Island University Hospital. And the kicker, the couple's son, Anthony, 35 years old, was at the same hospital with burns sustained when his father poured boiling soup over his head. That's crazy. That's something that shouldn't happen to anybody. Nobody's father should dump boiling soup over their head. But it really, and so that was before he became a predator, to our knowledge. So granting him at least that prior to this, maybe say he's never done it. You know, we don't know, but even if he had, this is still really fucked up to have your father scald you with boiling hot water. That's just, that could become, that's so traumatic that could make somebody do something crazy. I don't think that's the case in Anthony's case, but it's just, you know, wow. It does make me wonder, though, what was the situation where they're fighting? Who is making soup on the stove when this fight breaks out? Or, like, how did this all play out? Was Anthony making soup in another room in the kitchen, and this fight happened somewhere else, and then his dad just came out and grabbed his soup and dumped it on his head? Was the fight in the kitchen? A lot of questions that probably can't be answered unless somebody wants to get in contact with old Anthony. Like, do not contact the Predos. Don't do that. Alright, let's watch Anthony meet his destiny, and shout out to Saul for posting the video. Thank you very much. And here we go.
Come on in.
As our investigation in New Jersey continues, you'll meet many more potential predators who stick around to answer my questions.
What about visiting a boy who's home alone? Does that make you nervous?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
As our investigation in Ocean County, New Jersey continues, all the men who come to our undercover house...
This sting was the house where they were busting people out on the beach and inside the house.
Are expecting to meet
cool.
a young girl. Except this next man. He's been chatting online with a decoy posing as a boy.
A walker right here.
He's 46-year-old Anthony Palumbo, and he's brought it.
Look at this walk, this gait of his. He's so just dorky and awkward. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, he just looks like a fucking goofball. And he does one of the longer, presumably this is the Predator look back, a form of it. I mean, he's looking for the house as well.
Except this next man.
But
he's been chatting online with a decoy posing as a boy.
A walker right here.
He's 46-year-old Anthony Palumbo, and he's brought a gift. We've hired...
we should note that he's not a driver at night, so maybe that's why he was struggling to see the house. And this beer is going to become a little power play between him and the decoy, because just like he exhibited online, Anthony tries to use his authority as an older man and a bigger and louder one to force this decoy into things, or to try to force them into things. He just starts saying stuff, do this, do that, put the beer in the fridge. And he expects the decoy to do it, and he gets kind of frazzled when the decoy won't. He's an interesting predo, Mr. Anthony Palumbo, that's for sure. That's why he's one of the most infamous ones, because of his the tension in his character. You have the gayness, where he's, in the closet. There's a lot of tension there. There's the tension between him and the decoy, with him just trying to force the decoy to do these things as a form of grooming. Force them to do little things and then slowly escalate it. But the decoy is the actor, so they're not going to take any shit from Anthony that they don't have to. And it's nice to see the decoys just tell him, yeah, I'll do it, just chill. And knock Anthony back on his toes.
Hired an 18-year-old actor to play the part of the young teen.
Hey, come on in. Awesome.
Ooh, decoy almost fell right there. That, as everybody remarks, that would have been crazy to see. What would have happened if they fell and, God forbid, actually hurt themselves, like broke their arm or something? I presume that the crew would just come out to help them, and Chris would just come out shouting at the Predo to get outside or something dramatic. Because obviously the safety of the actor is more important than getting footage. Hopefully. But maybe Chris is back there once again railing lines, and he just says, "Suck it up. Carry him out of here. Sit down, Anthony." No, Chris is a nice guy, I'm sure. Alright, let's go back to the video. He comes into the house and breaks that barrier without much hesitation. So he comes up. He comes in and immediately hands the decoy something and tells him to do something. Put it in the fridge. And while the decoy puts it in the fridge, Anthony could get a good look around the room, check the other rooms. He could get up to some trouble while the decoy is putting it in the fridge, the refrigerator.
You a good direction.
Online in an AOL gay chat.
So he mumbles a few greetings as the decoy is walking away, as he comes in the door. Then he gives him the beer, and then he compliments him by saying, "You give good directions." It's rather a bald kind of manipulation. He tells him to do something, and then he compliments him. So the decoy is going to feel like he has to go along with it. But Anthony, he's facing off against an 18-year-old, number one. But number two, he's not a very menacing character. He's gawky and disjointed, and he just talks kind of funny. So, and he's got this big old mustache. I believe he lives with his mother still, which, that's fine, but he does appear to be a bit of a mama's boy stereotype. Anyway, let's get back to it.
That room, calling himself "Hi Buddy, what's up?" He tells the decoy, who's pretending to be a 14-year-old boy, that he's horny. Then the 46-year-old says,
"I want to be top."
Oh, okay.
You want to do it raw?
Raw?
Yes.
What's that?
No rubber.
I was supposed to bear left at
now he's here, beer in hand, asking the decoy several...
I just want to reiterate how fucked up it is that he kept on bringing it up and trying to get the decoy to go along with letting him have unprotected sex with him. For his first time, the decoy doesn't even know what raw means, and right away brings up that in health class they learned you should use protection. But that does not deter Anthony one bit, and he just keeps coming back to it. So he's a goofy figure in life. You know, I just remarked that he's not a very threatening guy. But that also, while it doesn't make his outright demanding behavior as convincing as, you know, if somebody was really big, then you just want to do it just to, you know, make sure they don't hurt you. If they're a lot bigger than you or something like that, you might just go along with it because of the size difference. But he's got something else going on where he's disarming, or he could be. He doesn't take that approach with the decoy, but then when Chris comes out, he puts it on a little bit more and leans into the kind of awkwardness. And you see that with a lot of predos, especially the ones that are smaller, thinner, you know, not very intimidating in size. They're going to rely on more humor. And also the big ones. I mean, just the last video, Scooby-Doo / Dennis Coulson, he's a big boy, but he leans into that jovial nature to try to get people on his side. He's a big boy. He's not fit at all. So it's not like he's going to win a fight just because of his size, because he's going to be winded pretty quick. That's why he has to rely on the befriending people, even though it just comes off as totally inappropriate in the situation and is therefore very disconcerting. It does not, it makes you want to be, just lock him up, man. This guy just did this horrible thing and is joking around. Throw away the fucking key. Okay.
Several times to put it in the refrigerator.
You can put that in the fridge.
Yeah, I'll put it in a little bit.
All right. I'll relax.
I'm just a little nervous.
I'm nervous too.
Wow, he's giving laser eyes to the decoy when he tells him to put that beer in the refrigerator.
Times to put it in the refrigerator.
You can put that in the fridge.
Oh man, I'm not going to keep trying to get it, but I believe it was Dave's Lemonade that focused on that, and maybe Walls too, but they focused on like how he stares right at him after he says that, and it's just another form of manipulation / intimidation, staring intently at him for a moment, just kind of flashing those eyes in an unfriendly way too.
Yeah, I'll put it in a little bit.
All right.
And he's still looking at him, and it's not quite, you know, he's got this semi-grin on his face, but those eyes, those eyes aren't smiling. He's still reading this kid and trying to figure out how to best exploit him.
I'll relax.
I'm just a little nervous.
I'm nervous too. My excuse to come.
He looks almost, you know, disappointed or rueful that the decoy gave him a hard time.
I'll relax.
I'm just a little nervous.
I'm nervous too.
See, he's like, ah, shit. He won that one. I asked him to do something. I demanded it, and he did not do it. So, point goes to the decoy.
My excuse to come here, I went to Atlantic City.
He's got this inane chatter because what else is a 46-year-old man going to talk to a 14-year-old about? And now he doesn't have that protective barrier of the chat room. Now he's face-to-face, and he's just coming out with these dumb non sequiturs that the 14-year-old decoy is not going to care about. Like, oh yeah, your excuse for coming out here to rape me was you were going to Atlantic City. Whoop-de-doo, Anthony. It's disgusting to see these old predos. You know, this is a 30-year difference, almost. Yeah, 32-year difference. Yeah, 32-year-old. Had to do the math for a minute there. I hope I'm right. 14, 24, 34, 44. Yep, 32. Man, I'm a dumbass. I have to count that out. So 32-year difference, which is more years than I've been alive. So that's a huge, like, several generations. And watching him try to make conversation with this young boy that he's trying to rape and seeing it live, it's just sends shivers down your spine, because at this point he thinks he's actually a 14-year-old boy. He's dead serious right now, and this is the point it's always the point with some of the more frightening or sinister predators, where you feel that sickening sensation in your stomach, and you're just waiting for Chris to come out and school these guys, and so you're just getting sicker and sicker as you're watching it. You can't look away because you need Chris to come out and, you know, give you that catharsis of justice. So it's a good format for a show, and just thinking of it from a commercial standpoint, you know, it's a show that you really you need to see the end if you start watching it, because you can't watch these guys be these sick perverts and then not see them get their comeuppance. And at least I always have to finish the segment, you know. I got to see Chris come out and give him a couple lashes, verbal lashes. So that's something that they've got going for them. It's a very taboo subject. It's not quite pedophilia, because I believe pedophilia is sexual interest in children before puberty. There's some word for what these guys are, but they're predators, and that's a very dark subject, and everybody hates and reviles them. So it's also a very daring show for coming out when it did. It's also just ridiculous that Chris comes out and grills these guys right before they get arrested. I just don't see it being made today, because it would be, I don't know, it would be nice to see. I would love to see Chris bust out the old saddle and get back on the horse and start busting these guys down. He's doing a much more filtered version of it that I watched a little bit and I couldn't really do it, so I just came back to watching the classics. Anyway, speaking of, let's watch Anthony
I don't know.
get what's coming.
Put that in the refrigerator. I don't know. Just chill out.
That's it.
All right. We'll see what happens.
So the decoy is trying to get him to admit to a sex act on camera before he leaves to bring Chris in. And Anthony's just focused on getting him to put the beer in the refrigerator to establish dominance in the relationship. Because right now they're on even footing. You know, they're both standing face to face. They made introductions, but actually Anthony's at a bit of he's not doing so well. The decoy has the upper hand because he's denying Anthony's request. And when you make a request, you're at risk for losing face if you're turned down in certain ways. So he's getting turned down in a way that he is very uncomfortable with. He doesn't like having his authority questioned by a 14-year-old that he plans on using as an object, a sex object.
Atlantic City.
I don't know. What
Put that in the refrigerator. I don't know.
See that weird little transition in his face? He's just so serious.
City.
I don't know.
Put that in the refrigerator.
Like, he's just staring. He's not smiling. His face, you can see the tension. He's starting to sweat a little bit on his temples, but his jaw's tense. Put it in the refrigerator. And then when he sees that the decoy isn't going to do it, he quickly breaks to the side and shakes his head and tries to pretend like it wasn't a big deal to him. Even though watching it like we can on replay, clearly he really wanted the decoy to put that beer in the refrigerator. Props to this decoy, by the way. He's not in very many episodes. He does an excellent job with Anthony, at least. We'll get to him in his other segments, but good job with Anthony for sure.
I don't know. Just chill out.
That's it.
All right. We'll see what happens.
I'm just nervous. You know.
That's all right. You could put that in the refrigerator anytime.
Okay,
Don't get drunk with that.
You could put that in the refrigerator anytime.
Right. You could put that in the refrigerator anytime.
So he keeps on at it. He's not going to let this decoy get away with saying no. Although at this point, the damage has already been done, and he's not dominant right now. He's not on top, and he wants to be top. That sick old fuck.
I don't even.
Don't get drunk with that.
I won't.
All right.
And so then he gives him a little admonition, don't get drunk on that, insinuating that the decoy, that's a possibility, that the decoy could be irresponsible and silly enough to get drunk on that while he's putting it in the refrigerator. It's not really plausible, but it just, again, puts Anthony as the adult in the relationship because he's the one with experience with alcohol. And the decoy, who knows what he's going to get up to. So it's, again, him just trying to set the tone of the interaction and making sure that he's the one in control. And this is just such a wonderful, wonderful reaction shot because Anthony's in a nice big stretch. He's feeling good because he finally got the decoy to put the beer in the refrigerator. And then Chris comes out, and in a moment, everything changes for him, and it's just it's such a snap. It's a snap to reality, and everything did change for him. So he didn't go to jail or prison, which sucks because he definitely should have. As I've been pointing out, he's more of a predo than he kind of initially seems. But he did get lifetime parole and lifetime RSO in New Jersey. So in a way, that's kind of better for the community. You're not paying to have him in prison, but as long as probation and RSO is keeping him from committing crimes and doing what it's supposed to do, he still gets to kind of keep his life somewhat together, and so he's less likely to reoffend after, say, getting out of prison. If he goes away for 5 years, comes out, his life is, destroyed, has a hard time getting back on the horse and decides to reoffend, that's not good for the community. So even though it feels great when they do go to prison, and I always think that they should go to prison for as long as possible, but the RSO and the lifetime probation don't end. So Anthony probably wishes he could spend a few years in prison and escape from the restrictions because they're not easy. They're pretty onerous. And New Jersey doesn't fuck around. Like, they say lifetime probation, they mean it. So it's an alternative solution that I like better than what they do in other states, because it just seems more community oriented, more about protecting people. But let's watch this happen and just savor it.
So why do you need the cover story to go to Atlantic City?
I'll see my brother. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Ooh. So here he is. Bro. This is the face of a man with less than a second to enjoy what is left of his former life. After this, everything changes. This is the magic moment that reveals depths of humanity and kind of speaks to these basic dark truths about humans, that it's not just the skeezy traditional stereotypes that commit crimes. It's teachers and weirdos like this guy who you would kind of snicker at if you saw him on the subway, like, what a loser. But no, now he's showing up at this house to rape a minor, and watching them react to Chris, just watching him try to lie and just wriggle around, it's so satisfying. And it also just tells you a lot about who they are and what just shows their inner character in such a clear light. It's not good. It's not a good character. But it's rare that you get to see somebody in such a situation where every act and word they do is going to be weighted with this much consequence, this much weight and drama. Hopefully I'm making sense. Let's just get back to the video.
So why'd you need the cover story to go to Atlantic City?
I'll see my brother.
I want to try to capture the
So why'd you need the cover?
ooh, his mouth just drops, and because he has a mustache, you can see it. Oh, but then he goes into recovery mode where he kind of tries to relax and look less shocked. You know, you can still see his eyes are wide, and he's still pretty fucking scared, as he should be. But he's leaning down now on the counter, trying to present a more relaxed, you know, oh, I'm just hanging out, not here to do anything sexual. Nothing sexual, as Jesse Velez would tell you over and over again.
To Atlantic City.
I'll see my brother.
Yeah, but who did you have to give that to as a cover story?
Just a nice shot of Chris. He's looking good in this jacket, or this sweater. It's a good look. They got the good lighting. Just like in Forts in Georgia, the decoys miss, or not the decoys, the Pretos miss so many red flags. Like the unnatural lighting, the really bright lighting right at the bar, the single stool. It's just overwhelming, but they're so horned up that they can't resist. And you'll notice that he starts smiling. Like he's trying to be happy about it when he's telling this funny thing, like, oh yeah, I lied to my brother-in-law. I lied to my brother. I told him I went to Atlantic City. Like it's just one big gas that they're laughing about together.
I'll see my brother.
Like this, he's so stressed out, his eyes are pointing in different directions. But his face is trying to squeeze out a smile.
Yeah, but who did you have to give that to as a cover story?
No, my brother is home, my other brother.
Right.
And I said, I got to go to Atlantic City.
But instead you came here.
I stopped by to go there.
So you like to gamble.
Yeah, I love to gamble.
You took a little bit of a gamble coming in here tonight.
No, I just stopped by.
But you said you were nervous when you came in. Why were you so
Yeah,
nervous?
because I was going to Atlantic City, and it was dark, and I'm not usually drive at dark at nighttime.
So the nighttime makes you nervous.
Yeah, driving.
He's full of unique excuses, this guy.
To gamble.
Yeah, I love to gamble.
You took a little bit of a gamble coming in here tonight.
No, I just stopped by.
But you said you were nervous when you came in. Why were you so
Yeah,
nervous?
because I was going to Atlantic City, and it was dark, and I'm not usually drive at...
So Chris is fast on his wordplay here. Peak performance. And Anthony's just... He's trying his best, but his best isn't good enough.
dark at nighttime.
So the nighttime makes you nervous.
Yeah, driving. I'm not a drive at night.
And what about visiting?
Like, what is driving at night? How does that correlate to him being at this house at this hour, an hour and a half from home? Why?
Being a boy who's home alone, does that make you nervous?
Why tell
Well,
Chris?
yeah.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
I just wanted to just say hi. It was not that, yeah.
And drop
A moment of honesty that, yeah, he took a bit of a risk showing up here.
off a package.
Yeah, I had beer.
Have you been drinking tonight?
No, not at all. You can smell my breath. Not at all.
Oh, such a infamous line. Just turns my stomach every time. Like, imagine sniffing his breath, just fucking putrid. Oh, just, he doesn't have good dental hygiene. You can tell looking at the guy.
Well, it's okay. I don't need to do that.
And Chris just treats it so seriously. Just, you can tell that he's laughing on the inside, though. Like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
He tells me several times he thought the boy was 18, but in the chat log, the decoy tells him 2 different times that he's 14.
How old are you?
39.
39. You said you were 35 online.
So he takes a moment to come out with 39, and then in the chat he said he was 35, but really he's 46, so he's just all over the place.
35. 39.
We find out later he's actually 46.
So he takes off, for the decoy, he takes off 11 years. For Chris, he only takes off 7. I mean, these are such arbitrary numbers. It confuses to boggle my mind how they come up with this and why they do it.
Says he's unemployed and spends his time caring for his ailing mother. Then he tries to explain away his graphic sexual chat.
You asked him in your chat if he was top or bottom. What does that mean?
Did I ask? I don't remember.
Are you top or bottom?
When you're asked, I mean, what is he going to say? It's just like oh, God, Anthony. Like I said earlier, his exposure is just too high. He can't talk his way out of this one because Chris has the chat log.
I'm horny, you say.
I was just fooling around.
Well, if you're just fooling around, then
It's just bullshit talk, as Kevin Westerbeck says, who also has very high exposure in his chat log. These guys, they just give up. I mean, when you throw their own words back in their face, they are realizing in the moment that they should have been a little bit more subtle. And, you know, Anthony was all caps. It's... they just fooling around.
why were you so concerned about knowing whether or not he was a cop?
Just joking.
Just joking. So what made you...
Yeah, as one does, just joking about, fooling around, asking people if they're cops or not, asking if they're top or bottom.
You decide to come over here and meet a teenage boy after this sexually explicit conversation?
I thought it was like I wanted to hang out with someone, like a friend. Like I thought he was like 18, something like that.
He just wanted a friend, so common preto excuse number one. And then he repeats that he thought he was 18, which we've already covered, Anthony. He's not. And you know that he's not 18.
It wasn't, I'm not gay or anything.
Boom, the non sequitur that just echoes around the room. I'm not gay or anything. Now, this shows that he's real worried about this. You know, he's facing some serious legal problems here, and he knows that. Or at least, you know, it seems like he knows that. He knows he's in some big trouble, but it's the part about meeting a boy that he's most concerned with in this moment. It's the one that he's just... It explodes from him. He just can't contain it. He has to get it out. And so he just states it.
I'm just saying.
Well, this isn't about gay
No,
or
I'm
straight.
just saying. I'm straight. I'm
Nobody
just
cares
saying.
what adults do.
No, I'm
you know?
just saying.
But when you involve some...
He's just saying, and Chris is justifiably and appropriately kind of confused because that is not what it's about. It's not about his sexuality at all. It's about the age of his victim. It is kind of him offering up an excuse. Oh, I wasn't going to do anything sexual because I'm not gay. But it doesn't come across like that. It comes across as him just trying to establish that he's straight, you know? It's a subtle distinction, but it's there.
Somebody who's 14, that's when
I
it
thought
becomes
he
an issue.
18.
How old are you, you ask? 14. I told you that already. You say, okay, meaning okay.
I wasn't going
But why do that? What's the motive here? Explain it to me. I don't
No,
understand
you're
it.
right. No, you're right. It's stupid.
It's
no,
an illegal thing.
Yeah, I know. I did a stupid thing.
He switches into placating Chris, you know, the exaggerated head nod up and down real quick, admitting he did a stupid thing. You know, shades of Dennis Coulson. I am a stupid man. They're both doing and saying the same thing. Dennis put his hands up around his head and, you know, walked around. Now, this is what this is what Anthony's doing. Bobbing his head up and down like some sort of bobblehead.
You ever watch much television?
Sometimes, once in a while. Not so much of a TV person.
Well, I'm Chris Hansen, and I work for Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet kids online.
I
Like
wouldn't
here.
want to be, oh boy.
And you can walk right up.
So that's what it took to totally shut him down. His brain just broke when he saw those cameras come out because, again, he's being outed as gay, and now he finds out that it's going to be on national television. It's not going to just be in the police report, which he might be able to keep from people. Now it's going to be on the news, and he has nothing. He didn't offer up any excuses, any good excuses. So he knows that he is well and truly fucked.
Other door you came in.
Okay.
He quickly leaves the house and is startled by the police.
Smart man, he runs down those stairs so he doesn't get tackled off them and into the concrete. But then the police arrest him very nicely. These guys tackle other pretos. The New Jersey cops, man, they can get rowdy, but they're probably tired. They've been arresting pretos all night. I just want to quickly watch his reaction. It's just such a good reaction shot to the cameras coming out.
See, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet kids online.
I wouldn't want to be, oh boy.
I mean, I think he's thinking, I wouldn't want to be on TV, and then he realizes he's going to be on TV. They don't need his permission, you know?
You can walk right out the door you came in.
Okay.
He quickly leaves the house and is startled by the police. This guy.
So that's the end of his segment. The rest of this video is from, it sounds like Chris's podcast. I got to wrap it up because this one is starting to get a little too long. I apologize. Anyway, if you made it this far, I really and truly appreciate it. If you could subscribe, that'd be great. No obligation. I'm not in this for subscribers or even really views. I just want to talk about TCAP and interact with the community, have some fun with it. It's such a fascinating subject. So thank you, as always. If you have watched these, feel free to we're going to have, this is number 12 of 30, so we still have 18 more to go in the next 18 days, and I'm just going to keep churning them out. So, catch you on the flip side.